All right, welcome to the Knacker Golfers podcast. It's a Friday night, and it's the first weekend of the NFL season, and tonight the Chargers are playing the Chiefs down in Brazil, and it was a pretty entertaining game for the most part while I was able to watch it. The halftime show was really good. I just gotta say, that was probably the best halftime show I've ever seen. Had to be. I don't care what she was talking about. It was great. It was great. Anyway, I'm going to hit balls tonight, and what are we looking at fixing or working on? Well, I want to try a Tommy Fleetwood kind of a swing. I want to try to hit a punch shot, and there's also some Mason Howell in there from when I saw him at the Olympic Club win the U.S. Amateur. I was walking with him on Friday afternoon with John Daly II, and he had this great punch shot that I think is pretty similar to the Tommy Fleetwood swing, which is just a punch shot. But I was looking online, and there's several different ways that Tommy Fleetwood hits balls, and he can hit shots. I guess he has 11 stock shots that he can use out there on the tour. And, all the guys, you don't know that these guys can do all that stuff with their clubs on tour. And, the amount of time they're spending practicing, it's almost like they're breathing. Practicing to them is like breathing and walking. They're doing it all the time. And the only way you're going to get good at golf is if you play all the time. And so there's a lot of us that don't have that kind of time commitment. And like Jerry Seinfeld says, golf is an abbreviation for go away and leave family. That's what golf is to him, which makes sense. Golf is nothing but just going away and leaving your family. I have my wife and son at home, but I need to get some reps out, and I'm able to get out, and she actually encouraged me to go hit balls, so that's really, really good. So that's a pretty good thing I got going on right now at this moment. So, and then tomorrow I'm going to sleep in and just enjoy the Saturday and whatnot. So hopefully that'll happen. So I'm just wondering what I'm gonna try to work on. I think I'm just gonna try to work on the Tommy Fleetwood swing and see how that goes. I'm not really worried about doing whatever it is that I'm trying to do, hitting fades, whatever. I'm gonna try to hit Sacramento National tonight, and then there's another driving range that I don't quite know the name of. It's off of Interstate 80 at West El Camino, and it's right next to that truck stop, the 49er truck stop, that I haven't been to in a long time. But there's not the lighting there, in my experience, hasn't been the greatest when it's this dark outside. I think Sacramento National does a little bit better of a job to light the driving range. But yet the people that have been out there enjoying the ever-flowing of alcohol at Sacramento National has been growing and growing ever since every time I go there, it seems like there's more people there. And then you got to wait for stalls, and then you have to everybody's out there to have a good time, and so the having a good time part sort of bleeds over into other people trying to practice. So anyway, it's changed a lot over the last few years. It just has. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, last night I was able to buy tickets for the Procore Championship. It's going to be held at Silverado in Napa, Silverado Golf Resort in Napa, and so it's called the Procore Championship now, and it's a yearly thing what they do to open up the PGA Tour season. So they get a 2-week break, or actually it could be like a 3-week break, I think, after after the tour championship ends down in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Atlanta Athletic Club, which I found to be really good to watch this year. It was great to see Tommy Fleetwood win. And the thing is the kicker is going to have a lot of the, well, I guess I'm thinking that all the USA Ryder Cup guys are going to be there. And so it was a bit expensive for the most part. You know, they say that a ticket we can only go Saturday because I'm not going to take a day off to go there and watch it. I might just see how I feel after Saturday and see how it goes. And then there is, will I be able to watch it on Peacock, because it's not going to be on NBC. It's going to be on the Golf Channel, which hopefully will transfer over to the Peacock channel, which is what we have. We don't have the Golf Channel. But as far as I know, Justin Thomas has committed to that, and I guess last week or this week he had an accident where his baby girl hit him in the forehead with something, so he's got that to deal with. And I'm wondering, I saw that and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, Keegan might have to play after all. So anyway, and then Scottie Scheffler's going to be there. I mean, that's the way it looks, you know, from a promotional standpoint. You know, hey, let's get people out here because they want to see Scottie Scheffler, and that's why I want to go, is because I want to see Scottie Scheffler. And so it'll be, I mean, you just got to make sure that you're there on the first tee, because when he gets up there and the announcer is announcing his accomplishments on the first tee at Silverado, it's going to be awesome to hear the roar that happens when he gets up there on the tee. You know, hey, from Dallas, Texas, Scottie Scheffler, and then you'll see Ted Scott and his caddy, and it'll be great to see those guys. And, you know, who knows? Maybe I'll get an autograph from Ted Scott, because I know I probably won't get anything from Scottie. But who knows? Who knows? It's really interesting, because I don't even think that Scottie, well, maybe he did show up to Pebble Beach, but this is like a really rare occurrence for him to come to Napa to play in that tournament. So we'll see how it goes. We're going to be there Saturday, and if you just so happen to see me, say hello. Maybe we can have a picture or sign a picture, autograph, whatever. Yeah, I'll sign a golf ball for you if you want. Take a selfie, whatever. Shoot a video. Give you a little. I'll probably interview you first. Like, hey, so what brings you out to Napa? You know, are you enjoying yourself? Have you had a sip of the red wine going around, the Merlot? Have you had any of that? Anyway, so it should be fun. But other than that, I can't really think of anything else to talk about other than there's been a lull in the golf. I mean, I guess the Irish Open is going on this weekend. That is in, I don't know where it's being played, but I guess Rory McIlroy's in it, and he's, I watched a little bit of the highlight reel, and then I was distracted by something else. Oh yeah, it was the halftime show of the NFL game. It was the halftime show that I got distracted by. So yeah, that was a bit, that was a bit of an important, 10 minutes to watch. So yeah, that halftime show down in Brazil, holy smokes. Anyway, so going to Sacramento National, going to check out the balls, make sure they are, of, decent quality for folks to consume and whatnot. And then there's this, the Sacramento Golfer Facebook group that I've been seeing a lot of. They're starting to, this is the time of year where greens are getting aerified and top dressed, and then you're dealing with the after effects of the aerification that is a necessary activity that needs to happen on these greens. And I'm just thinking just now that Sacramento National may have aerified their greens, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I could go to the practice green and do a little bit bit of night putting over there and see how that goes. But then who knows? It may not pan out because the greens are all standing up. So we'll see how it goes. All right, so I'm off to Sacramento National tonight, and we'll see how it goes. It's 80 degrees, so we're having a little bit of a cooling trend. It was up to Wednesday this week. It was all the way in the 100s, and there was no way I was going to be out this late on a Friday night when it was that hot. So that's the thing that happens here in August and September, is that there's nights where it can get really hot and it can get really sticky out there. So anyway, off to Sacramento National, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening. This is let's pause for station identification. This is the Knacker Golfers Podcast on the Observer here, Radio Network. All right, welcome back to the Knacker Golfers Podcast. Came to the range of Sacramento National, and they had just changed their range balls. So if you're coming here in the beginning of September 2025, they'll have really good range balls. I did find one appalling ball that had no dimples on it at all, and it looked like it'd been, scuffed up by, meat slicer or something. Anyway, I got rid of it. I threw it away for them. But anyway, all the balls were really good. They're using the Srixon Marathon range balls, and I found them to be really good ball flight. So I was doing a thing tonight where I was trying to do this abbreviated finish like Tommy Fleetwood, where it wasn't like, wrapping your club around your neck kind of thing, like what I'm used to, but just finishing with the golf club high above my head. And when I did that, I found myself being really consistent. I found myself, just being able to get through and hitting through the ball was really good. And I didn't really have too many crazy wayward shots like hooks or slices. Didn't have many of those at all. And then I found out at the end I was using my 8-iron. I was using this because for so long I've been doing this outside in kind of a swing that would accentuate kind of a fade off of a higher lofted iron, like a wedge or a 9-iron or an 8-iron. And I just kind of reversed it. I wanted to swing like Tommy Fleetwood and also Shane Lowry. And the way Shane Lowry moves the club around his body is so magnificent because he's so flexible, and he can just roll that club around his body, and it just makes perfect contact every time. And then he can work the ball right to left to right, all that other stuff. He's got his stock shots. But I had a little moment where I was actually seeing the line, seeing the swing path of having an inside-out kind of a swing. And in that swing path, I was able to figure out how to sort of draw the ball. Because I've always had a problem drawing the ball, but I've had an easy time fading the ball. And I really want to, if I ever get the chance to go out there again and play, having a decent sort of way of, approaching the game, you got to have a select number of shots that you can play on whatever hole it is or whatever situation. Because with this 8-iron, I was hitting the ball like I was lining up towards it, because I was still having the problem of coming over the top like I was, way back when. And what happened is the problem is I immediately and habitually go outside in kind of a swing. And the club doesn't have a chance to gain momentum when it's wrapping itself around your body, like a more of a rotational kind of a swing path. I don't know how to explain it, but if you're trying to have a swing plane that's more inside out, you're probably going to have a tendency to maybe hit a draw, especially if you're aiming with the club at the toe. Like if you put the ball at the toe at the address and take the club back and have it be more inside out, you're gonna eventually, and then it's also about ball placement too, because if you have the ball further up in your stance, it might have a better chance of going right to left. So I did that a few times, and I did hit a few draws, and it was pretty good. It was a really cool night. You know, it's only 70 degrees, and it's such a nice change from all the heat and the misery that we've had in the last few weeks. So it was really nice to do that, and the crowd that was there was a little bit more mellow. It wasn't so hyper and vigilant about, you know, maintaining the buzz and all this stuff and getting a little out of line when you are buzzed kind of thing, and just letting the conversations get a little heated about stuff, you know. And then the Chargers won tonight against the Chiefs, so it was 27-21, I believe. So that was nice to see that. You know, that new running back they had went out of bounds in the first half, and eventually let the Chiefs get the ball back. I don't think they did. Yeah, they scored. They scored a field goal in the last few seconds of the first half, but it didn't help them. It didn't propel them to win the game. So I'm glad that he wasn't had to wear that on his sleeve for the rest of the season. You know, his mistake made the team lose because he ran out of bounds. That new number 8, he was a running back. I guess he's a rookie. So anyway, I guess Harbaugh was really pissed going into the halftime. And the kid, and yeah, you know, nobody could enjoy the halftime show like anybody else. So anyway, it was so funny to see that. So back to the Sacramento National time. There was no lights at the putting green, and there wasn't really anything to do after hitting balls because the greens aren't lit. You know, there is a green that's in front of the clubhouse that you know, you have a chance to have it lit and to have a chance to have possibly a night where you can putt on the green when it's cool, but tonight it didn't happen. I don't know who controls that, and you know, it also could be an indication that they airified greens, so maybe they don't want people on the greens. So that's all well and good. That's fine. So anyway, it was good to have a good session out there, and it was nice to have a good session, and it wasn't too overwhelming of the folks having a good time, you know, and not really practicing. And so it was good to have that. It was good to have that tonight. So I really. I think. Oh, I hit my. I brought out my Bridgestone Rextar 4-wood. It's actual persimmon 4-wood that I have, and I was hitting that pretty good. So that high hands finish really makes it more consistent. So I don't know. I think it's something to work on, and you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, who knows if I'll ever get to play again? But at least. You know, you can, I mean, you know, I do this podcasting stuff to try to document things that I find and I learn from my sessions, but yet I don't write anything down. I just probably try to do it from memory and whatever the most recent occurrence of a good practice session was. But yeah, it's really good to go there and have good balls to hit and to practice with. So they all have their dimples. They're probably, you know, I don't know. They put this batch in the hopper, and they look pretty new, less than a week old. And then, you know, when I was leaving, I saw this huge pallet of more balls. Then each box from Strixon has 240 balls. So it's cool to see that. It's cool to see a place that's replenishing the balls and getting rid of bad balls and throwing them away. And you it's good to see that because this course actually kind of cares about how much people are spending on golf balls. And so, it was $26 tonight, and that's the way it is for, the top tracers or pro tracers, whatever they're called. And, I didn't use it. I was just trying to, get the feeling of what it's like to hit a good shot. So, yeah, my clubs made a different sound after hitting, somewhat decent shots, and they sounded, they were pure, and they were, hit solidly, and they made a different sound. Maybe that's an indication of I'm actually hitting the ball correctly. So, anyway, that's about it. So tonight I'll probably go to bed tired, and I'll probably wake up a little sore, but it's good because I'm trying to stay hydrated. So that's about it. Hey, thanks a lot for listening. This is the Knacker Golfers Podcast, driving down Marconi Avenue in Carmichael, California. The home of John Daly, or actually the birthplace of John Daly, is Carmichael, California. So anyway, little golf reference there. All right, folks, thanks so much for listening. This is the Knacker Golfers Podcast on the Observant Ear Radio Network.